How you doing, Greg?
I'm pretty good, actually. How are you?
I'm feeling pretty sore.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
Roaming around Glencoe yesterday was quite eventful.
Okay there.
Who gets the last drop? I do. Sorry. For our audio listeners, I'm pouring coffee. Oh.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, not over the desk. Hang on. Thanks.
Another month over.
Successful month.
Wedding season's in full swing.
Yeah.
Getting towards the end of the season here in Scotland.
Mm-hmm. Which I'm always a little bit relieved about. I don't know how other creators feel about it, but usually it's a bit of a it's enjoyable when we're shooting, but it is a bit of a slog. Wedding after wedding after wedding, and just feeling like it's never ending. However, it does end, and now we're here with a whole backlog of things to edit, and that's its own little reward as well.
Yeah. But yeah,
it makes all the worth it. When
this is the August monthly recap
yeah,
because we're now five days into September. So
I mean it's the 6th. What do you mean 5 days? It's the 6th.
okay, 6 days
into it. God.
But yeah, we had a quick start to September, so that's why we're now recording this in September. But anyway, what have we been up to in August?
Well, we made some notes here so that we're not rambling on too much. So it says here we delivered Charlotte and Rory's film. Charlotte and
We
Rory's,
did. I think we delivered. I'm pretty sure we delivered Callie and Manuel as well. There might have been another one at the start of August that we delivered, but we definitely delivered theirs. But then a couple that we talked about last month were Charlotte and Rory and Lorraine and Chris, because those were both wedding photographers.
Yes,
so we talked
indeed.
about them in the last month's episode. And now we delivered their films.
Yeah.
Got some lovely feedback, which is always nerve-wracking sending out a film, as you'll probably know. You're sending out a gallery.
But when it's another wedding creative,
There's that wee bit extra nerves.
Yes.
But I've got some notes on what the feedback was.
Oh, that's nice.
So Charlotte sent some Instagram messages, just that barrage of messages. Boom, 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 boom. What's going on? What is it? It was just, guys, we literally have no words. We're totally and utterly, completely blown away. Like, tears have been shed. Happiness. Honestly, couldn't ask for better. And it's like, oh, thank God.
That's a good. It's always a little bit of a panic when you get those kind of messages. But yes, it's nice to hear what they think about it after they've actually watched it. Sometimes I get a little bit confused because obviously you deal with the delivering of the projects, whereas I'm in the fields, like building them all.
You're on to the next one.
I'm on
By
to
the time
next
I'm delivering that one, you're already on. My mind is on
away.
that wedding.
Yeah.
Well, what can you remember about Charlotte and Rory's film from the edit?
Good vibes. With Charlotte and Rory's one, we had shot a wedding. In fact, this is actually when I was editing. I remember this. I was shooting a wedding at one of our weddings that we'll talk about later, and Sarah, the photographer, was like, "Oh, your films are all slow and romantic-y." And I took great offense. I was like, "Excuse me." I'll fucking show you, Sarah. So I went back and I was like, the film was heading in that way naturally, but I really did play on the fact that there was a mariachi band and there was a party, and at some point I will create socials. Like once the queues died down, I'll go back to that wedding. I will create socials for our online use, and I'll just make sure, because obviously that's obviously not Sarah's fault.
Interesting hearing that perspective.
Not Sarah's fault that she thinks all of our films are really slow and romantic-y. I've obviously just not done a good enough job in portraying.
We've maybe just not posted any of the party vibe ones recently.
I mean, we haven't. I mean,
Yeah.
So it tends to be like elopements and like when
A lot
the
more
season
couple shoot that makes up those films as well.
Yeah, and then it gets into the weddings, and so it's at that point you're just you're in the queue. So social media is kind of less on the the focus. It's just getting those films to the clients, and then you go back to them, and that's when you pull out more. So I can understand that. Plus, I do love showing the elopement stuff. I'm not. I do love the big weddings, but man, does the elopement stuff look big and epic and cool.
Yeah.
You cannot deny that. It looks good.
True. But then we also delivered Lorraine and Chris, as we said, and Chris's feedback was,
man.
I mean, I might struggle to read this because it's so long, but gentlemen.
That's what she said. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Gentlemen, you are true masters of your craft. We'll take that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lorraine and I have just finished watching our full Multiversal Matters edit, and it's truly a work of art. Having been a designer and art director for over 25 years, I'm extremely picky and hard to please creatively. You both met and truly surpassed any and all expectations. I'm blown away at how beautiful the film looks, sounds, and feels. Lorraine and I will treasure this for a lifetime. Thank you both. I'm now off to watch it again.
Yes.
Like, damn, that felt good.
Look, so when I said I get confused because obviously I leave you to the deliverables. This is one of the ones where I get kind of confused about because obviously I forgot they get the highlights first.
Yep.
And that had its own set of amazing messages.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, guys, this is incredible. Like, and I thought, oh wow, like if they're saying all these amazing things, obviously they've got their film, that's great. And then it happened again. I was like, what the hell? They just keep watching this film and right, And we've talked about this on episodes. It's about how you give them. So I just forgot because I'm editing. I'm in the I'm in the trenches.
That's sort of dripping out the content to them.
Yeah. And that's I'm really loving this whole year with the weddings that we've been getting. This one I would describe as probably one of the more alternative ones.
Yep. They had, I think, as we talked about last month, they had a love of movie soundtracks and trailers and movies in general. So you played on that quite a bit, and I think we'll share the highlights film on a blog soon. It turned out like a movie trailer. Like you added some nice sound design to that as well. Yeah.
I mean, it started off with this shot that I would never create for any other film. But obviously, part of the speech was the fact that, and Chris was talking about his belief in like string theory and there being like multiple universes, and how every alteration, I don't know, like if there has been a change in a timeline and that timeline exists in its own little universe, so there's a nice poeticness to it that in his thought that in every universe he would like to think that him and Lorraine were together, and I really like that, and I pulled on that in the edit. Having a shot of him just explode into mirrored images of him coming out in the one shot, and then just obviously shooting in a mining museum, which has got high contrast, like stone and dust, and like cool looking visuals, as well as showing the wedding. Like films have a theme when I go to edit them. But obviously remembering it's still a wedding film. So I don't want to be too out there, but just out there enough to grab the personality of the couple. And I really feel like I did that pretty hard on this wedding film. And I really had fun on this. And so it was good.
Then
you were in France, you big loser.
I went off to France for a holiday.
2-week holiday and busy Wednesday.
10 days. It just fell over like kind of 2 weekends.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. 2 weekends where
So-
we had already weddings booked. But that's
No,
fine.
we
that's
booked the
fine.
wedding. No, one of them was maybe already booked. The other one we booked after I booked the holiday.
Well, that's
'Cause
well, that's terrible.
The wedding planner phoned up and said, they really want you guys. Are you available? And I was like,
who really wanted us?
it was the Timeless White wedding.
Yeah. Cool.
And I was like, I personally am not available, but give me a few days and I'll check with some other folk if we can get cover for it.
Yeah.
Got cover, and then we took the booking.
Yeah.
So I only skipped out on one
You skipped
that
out
was
two.
pre-booked.
You skipped out on 2, and then you came back, and then we shot a Dunsky wedding, and then you skipped out on another one because you had a concert that got cancelled.
Yeah.
Which, look, I mean, so we're talking like fairly big weddings actually. All these were big weddings.
Yeah.
And so, and I don't know if I've spoken about this in the podcast, but sometimes I get a little bit anxious the night before a wedding. So much so that I couldn't properly sleep. So I'd be going to these weddings with like 2 hours sleep and just being highly caffeinated. Which was wonderful for our couples because then I got to be
I think-
extra weird.
To some level, that's like we were talking about that yesterday. Actually, that keeping that wee bit of anxiety and fear about shooting is good, and it keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
But to get only 2 hours sleep, that's a bit extreme.
Yeah.
Especially having been shooting so long.
Yeah, I know.
But
I mean, 13 years
It
doing
just
this and I
shows-
still get anxious about a wedding.
I think it shows the passion for wanting to do a good job, though.
No, it just shows how comforting you are to me, Greg.
Oh, is it because I wasn't
It
there?
is. It is
Oh,
But no,
Yeah, so-
I mean, look, I'm more than happy shooting with Dan and shooting with Matthew. I have no worries. They perform very well, especially in these like high stress weddings. I had absolutely no complaints. They did a great job.
yeah. And actually,
they were fun.
something that we didn't make a note about, but we'll talk about and maybe go into in a future episode or something, is because I was away, and one of my main jobs is to ingest all the footage and sync it and get the session ready. We decided to try offloading that for one of these weddings
We
as a
did.
bit of a test. So we got in touch with Wedding Post House. I'm blanking. Is it Wedding Post House?
I don't know.
I think it's Wedding Post House.
So this is from my end. This is how it was the day
Yeah.
before the wedding. Hey, let's try this culling service. I was like, yeah, okay, let's do it. Right, you upload the footage here and send them the link. That was it.
Yep.
And
so
then
basically, that's what you do. You upload it to Dropbox, send them the link, and they will set up the whole session for you in whatever program you use. So we're
Yep.
Premiere. Set up that, then they synced all the footage and did a cull on the sort of B-roll footage as well. So we've yet to properly dive in and edit that one, so we can't really give proper feedback on it. But the cull looks as if it's pretty decent from first glance.
yeah, it's just all the footage in a timeline.
Yeah.
Chopped up.
So that's saved a couple of days' work, hopefully.
Yeah.
Uh,
Just 'cause we
provided
overshoot.
they've got the good shots and we've not missed too much that we might have used. It'll be interesting to do the edit and give feedback on it after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the process of uploading and getting it back all worked quite well. So we'll report back in a couple of months maybe by the time that one's edited.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Who were you shooting with on those ones when I was away?
So for Chloe, it was an Emma Lawson booking, but we were shooting with Sarah and Steve.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then for Thurlestane Castle, which is the next weekend, it was David Wheeler.
Right.
So first, funnily enough, obviously I knew Sarah.
We've never shot with her before, I don't think.
Yeah, so I'm saying Sarah. We've actually had her as a podcast guest. Her brand is
Joy Story.
Joy Story. I was going to go for the other one, and I always it's Weeva.
Weeva.
I always get that wrong. is it pronounced Wiva? But there's no I. It's E. So yeah. Anyway, Weaver. Yes, we've had her on a podcast guest. Super interesting. And obviously, you work part time for Sarah, and she spends all of her time winding me up, trying to steal you from me. That's what Sarah's goal in life is, to bring me to murder spots and threaten
I was gutted
me.
I missed that one. It'd have been good to
It was good.
work with her and Stevie.
Yeah, and Stevie obviously never met, but I had a great time. Good banter with Stevie.
Yeah.
And from time to time, he sends me little questions about video because he's been doing photography for a long time and is now getting bored. So he's doing video.
Getting bored.
Like an idiot. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, he sends me questions. In fact, you sent me one today about what kind of color balance we go for, and what our approach to color balancing is.
Yeah.
So, which you know what? Maybe we could talk about that in another video. Hey, why not?
Yep.
So yeah, that was good fun. David Wheeler again, never shot with, never met, and it was just him on the day. But a super sound guy, does a lot of destination work.
Yeah.
So he's always traveling to Paris and Greece and other European countries, and you know.
Nice.
Yes.
Then after that, I came back and we went down to Dunsky. It's always good fun down there.
Yeah, I love a Dunsky wedding.
With Mark Bakura, which again, always good fun shooting with him.
Especially now because he lives in Spain. So now that we actually get to see him on the very few occasions, it's just nice to be able to shoot with your friends, especially if they've moved countries.
I even made time to have a game of tennis with him in the morning.
Is that what you called that? It's the pair of you.
Simon was getting a drone shot and
You'll
next
be
to
in
the tennis
film.
court.
You'll be in the film.
Mark and I were just like, let's just have a wee hit. We were terrible.
A wee hit. We
were wearing the
bumped on
wrong
courts.
shoes. It was roasting hot. We just didn't play well.
It was.
Mark was blaming the balls. Said they were too light or something.
No, I'm not saying anything. Yeah.
But a lovely wedding.
Another great wedding.
Yeah.
Another one of those kind of high pressure weddings. Funnily enough, it was quite. I feel like I knew a little bit more about the groom because he too had a podcast and he too had a. He had just moved to YouTube, so he had the visual aspect.
Yeah.
So on the way in, we were just listening to his podcast and spying on him and his pals.
Yeah.
And then obviously when we showed up to the wedding, even though, and this has popped up a few times, even though we've watched him, you know, and you meet someone who produces video content on YouTube, you have to kind of pretend that you don't really watch it. Apparently that's the rule. Not me, however. I was straight in there. I was just like, yo, we watched it. I thought it was great. I'm going to subscribe. Boom. Because, yeah, we've been meeting a few people at the pub.
There's that weird thing where if you watch somebody's Insta story, it's kind of a bit weird to tell them that you know what they've been up to.
I've been stalking you.
Oh, I see you were at this place yesterday. Apparently that's a bit weird, but they've put it out there in the public.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
Well, it's like yesterday when Danielle was telling us her plans, and I was like, yeah, I know. In 2 weeks you leave. Yeah, you know. I mean, it's not because I've been following you around in your van. It's just you literally just posted it, and I saw it.
So feel free to, if you see us at the pub, feel free to say we saw that you were talking to this person in the podcast. Or
Yeah.
It's out there. It's out there.
It's out there. We're putting out there. We're putting out there for you guys to listen to and enjoy. And if you do find enjoyment from it, awesome. Tell us. Don't pretend like you don't know who we are. Like introduce yourselves. I love speaking to new people. Although when I was at the pub, there was a couple of times when they were like, "Oh, so what's your business name?" Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, I need to hit the follow back button. I'm so sorry. Because we don't tend to follow people unless we've either worked with them or met them in person, or they're a potential guest, or well, that's kind of it, really, isn't it? Yeah, people that we know. But that just means that we don't know you yet. Well,
yeah, Dunsky should make for a good edit though, because the groom played a song for his bride in the morning. He sat down on acoustic guitar, played a wee song.
Yes.
Then in the evening, got up and played the song with the band's electric guitar.
Yeah.
And then also played another song with the band. So it was quite fun.
It was a really special wedding. I think we actually got into... So we asked the groom, because he said, hey, I wrote a song for my bride. And there was acoustic guitars in the room. And we were like, hey, you mind sitting down and playing it for us? And we'll get all the guys out. And although we were still like 40 minutes, 30 minutes before the ceremony, I do believe that the bride was a little bit anxious as to where we were for bridal portraits. However, I think we made the right call, because I think when she sees that moment, I don't know, I think it would just be a special.
Yeah.
It's not everyone writes you a song, and I think just to be able to capture that, it will be special for her. So I cannot wait to watch that. Plus, if you're a D&D kind of tabletop gamer, if you like that sort of content, I'm going to link down, or I'll get Greg to make the links down in the show notes for our groom Will.
John.
Sorry, the podcast is Will Saves. But John, our groom, fantastic mustache. What a man. Very cool. So if you like that, give him a podcast listen. Jesus, what's wrong with my words?
Then it's been a busy month, because
it's been a very busy month.
You, as we said, I was supposed to be at Blink, but it was cancelled. You still shot Charlotte and Bertie's wedding.
Charlotte and Bertie, yes. I had another. First of all, what a heat wave we are having right now.
Yeah.
I was melting at that wedding. It was very intense. It was at this very private golf club in North Berwick, the Renaissance Club. Very fancy.
Rumoured to only be, the third or fourth wedding they've done there?
Yes.
I think.
And let me tell you, the team over there were absolutely fantastic. Because, so, it was kind of interesting, because they don't do weddings. They're not really set up for weddings. So they had their being a golf club, they had their main building and reception and other, like the main hub is all kind of in the middle of the courses. However, the wedding was actually not there. It was like a mile away at the villas,
right,
just down the coast a little bit. And they had a marquee set up and 2 of the villas for the bride and groom to get ready and stay in, and everything was great. However, this was a wedding where during dinner, there was a very intense, quick day of shooting. But when you got to the dinner, it was a speech and then a starter, speech, then a main, speech, and then a dessert, and then a speech, and then we were told it was going to be a speech straight into first dance. Like the couple were going to stand up.
On the schedule, the best man's speech was before right before first dance, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I'm telling. So the plan was that any wedding suppliers they walk to the main house a mile away, and I'm like, I'm really sorry, planner. Her name is Alice. She's lovely. That's not going to be physically possible. Plus, we need to kind of keep an eye out on the dance floor in case there's people doing speeches. So, is it possible to make us something on site? And she did, and it was great. But man, how difficult are those weddings when you physically don't get? I can handle the physicalness of a wedding, but that mental, like, you have to make 1,000 decisions, and lighting and audio and miking people, and this dress is not right, and you're trying to figure out mics, and it's all over the place, and the lights changing because it's sunset, and you're like, well, nothing's gonna feel coherent here.
Yeah.
And then you're thinking, when it's the darkest, because we've only got like a spotlight and like a little LED thing. So the sacrifice was for that last speech, it's going to be dark, but we have to light the dance floor because they have a choreographed dance.
Right.
And it was a case of just, you had to pick which one needed to have the flaws of whatever you picked.
It's still going to look good, but not as good as it could have been.
Yes.
Essentially.
Yeah. Plus, the marquee's power was on one side of the tent. So, for the rest of the speeches was fine because it was more or less daylight. But, I mean, even if we wanted to make the other call, there wouldn't have been the option because it wasn't power to put the light up. So, yeah.
The joys of weddings.
And then, I don't know.
Problem solving all day.
And you saw the clip of me stirring the pot as I asked some of the chefs, hey, where do we eat? He's like, I'll go find out. Stir this pot. So I'm just stirring foods. But I'm saying something, but I'm doing the same things I'm doing right now. Oh, my God. What's wrong with my
Words
brain?
were failing you.
Words are failing me. I was just getting so tired, slurring away. It was hilarious and embarrassing to watch. But hey, but it was a great wedding. And hey, the dad was the CFO of Pixar Animations.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. I feel like we're starting to shoot like bigger and bigger names here. So it's like, try to just be normal. Try to be normal. Who else, Greg?
We're creeping into September now.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's August recap.
Greg,
but
you creeper.
we're creeping into September now because yesterday, as I say, we're straight out shooting yesterday for Ashley and Connor.
Oh,
Ashley's also a wedding filmmaker. Ashley June Films.
Ashley June Films.
It was an amazing day, but as you say, the heat wave is mental. Do you think that's the hottest elopement we've shot?
I'm burnt. I'm actually like white under my
Potentially
watch.
hottest elopement, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
So up in Glencoe.
Yeah, up in Glencoe,
Brilliant day.
Ralston Point. So sunny. It was really windy at the ceremony spot. Now, I don't know about you, but for filmmakers, wind is always a worry. It's because sound, although you have a certain amount of control, it's always a pre-planned control. So you can never really know how your audio is going to turn out until it turns out. Like, until you import it and you listen back.
Yeah.
And on the car home, there's a few variables like that.
Like walking home from the ceremony, or walking back to the car from the ceremony to go somewhere else for more shots, I said to Simon, I was like, we potentially, that was so windy, we might need to speak to the couple and say, you're a filmmaker, you've got a microphone, do you want to just record something in your house? I was that worried. Like, I thought, no way can that sound good.
Yeah. And it definitely was going to make Greg worried because just before we started, I said, hey, Greg, is it too windy? And you were like, no.
And yeah, my answer was, no, it'll be fine. Because if I said yes, what are we going to do?
What are we going to do?
The ceremony, they have to vaguely say where they're getting married on the schedule.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's only so far we can move.
Okay.
And it's all exposed up there. You couldn't have found shelter. So I was just like, no, it's fine.
Yeah. And the thing is, I know Ashley is going to be listening to this. So, Ashley, just to put your mind at rest, your audio was absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
So, obviously, we bought the new Tascam.
Yeah.
Oh, we haven't said that. The new Tascam. What are the numbers in the thing?
DR10L Pro.
God, 10. Can we not? Let's just name our technology actual physical names. Hey, this is the Tascam.
Bertie.
Robert. Bertie. I was thinking Bertie as well. That's weird.
Just because recent group.
This is the Tascam Bertie. He records 10-bit audio. No, 32-bit audio flow. It's great. Bertie's the man. There you go.
Yeah, so far it seems to be working pretty well. Like, used it on a couple of weddings now.
It's great.
Seems really good.
However, now, by the by, that recorder would not have got rid of the audio. The wind from the audio.
No, that was all down to the windshield.
That is all for the windshield, and that worked out beautifully. Also, the Sony with the windshield that I placed down in between Ashley's boobs. Yep. Sorry, Ashley. That audio was great as well, and so was Connor's audio. So the three audio sources absolutely
So
sounded beautiful.
In fact, you say Ashley's going to listen to this, and she has. You said on the day that we made it look easy filming a wedding.
Which is great.
You didn't hear and know what was going through our heads during all this. Like, we were thinking, oh no, the audio is going to. What are we going to do? We maybe made it look easy, but there was those things going on in our heads.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and it was until we got the audio out and just listened to it. We were like making little
like I set
what
up,
if plans. Like if we
set up my office in the car, imported all the footage on the 2-hour drive home. First thing we did was let's play the audio.
Yeah.
Like, yep, that's good. In fact, we're surprised at how good it was.
Seriously, not a wind sound to be heard in the minutes that we listened to, which was unbelievable because it really was super gusty.
I was worried the tripod was going to blow over.
Yeah.
All this in a heat wave, like a beautiful sunny day.
I know, which was, I mean, it was lovely.
Yeah.
Basking in the sun, but
the rest of the day we just buzzed around Glencoe, like Glenetive Road.
Do you have to use the verb buzzed? I'm fed up of midges. Oh my God, I'm bitten to all high hell.
We got some amazing light down at the woods.
Yeah.
Back at the river as well.
Yeah. And working with Danielle. What was her surname? Danielle Stewart.
Yeah, she was lovely. Good fun to work with.
Yeah, absolutely. She's been doing it for a few years. It seems to be that she wants to do more elopements. So that was awesome.
Yeah.
Getting to work with her, showing her some new spots. So Danielle has a big van, and so I think she gets a little bit nervous when you're like, because obviously Glenetive Road, it's a single track for a lot of it, and it's a big van. That's not that easy to do, like 3-point turn anywhere. It's nice that we were able to take her down to our favorite spots that we hadn't actually been down in a while.
We haven't been there for a while.
And we got lucky, didn't we? Because the original...
we planned it.
Oh, yeah, sure. So we were going down Glenetive Road, or Glenetive Road, however you pronounce it. And the idea was we were going to stop by the river wherever we liked to shoot. There was a big pool there with a massive kind of cliff rock. However, there was a newly built fence that kind of threw me off, and I couldn't see over Greg's shoulder, so I drove past it accidentally. And realizing this about a minute past the point, I think, we just thought we'll continue on to the woods because Danielle won't be able to turn her van, so we headed to the woods. And boy, did we get lucky because the sun coming through those trees
pockets
was
of light.
Absolutely stunning. We placed a couple on an old wall for a couple of nice like sitting down shots, and then smoke bomb in the forest, thank God, because we were starting to get eaten by the midges. And then headed back up towards the main road and stopped by the river, did some drone stuff, just had a little bit more of an adventure with the couple. And it's funny, on the way there, we mentioned how we were having so much fun that like we're shooting so many different places.
Yeah.
We're stopping at so many different places. We stopped at Danielle's favorite spots, and then ours down the road. And usually we wouldn't almost stop that many times.
Like, I forgot how long you can spend in Glencoe. Like, if the couple are up for it and you're having a good day, you can just be there for ages.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I'll probably be home before Dexter's bedtime. Like, won't be too late. And then looked at the clock at one point. I was like, oh, it's 5 already. Then, like, the snap of our fingers, I was like, it's 7.
7, yeah.
We're still shooting at 7 p.m. Like, what?
And the thing is, like, time, like, ceremony was at 2, and we were shooting for like 5. It did not feel like
it was a 5-hour shoot.
It's crazy.
Just having fun.
And I was. It's always in the back of my mind how good an experience your couples are having. And I think Ashley was having a great time. Connor was having a good time. Danielle was having a good time. We were having a good time. It just, I don't know, something about the day was just lovely. And I had a blast.
That ending to the day, though.
Oh my fucking God, Greg. So obviously, when I mentioned that we imported this stuff in the car, that's just as a safety precaution. Get your footage backed up and onto as many drives as you can on the way home, because it's a 2.5 hour journey. However, Greg forgets the C camera. He leaves it in the boot. So I'm like, okay, cool. We might as well import it since you're doing that as a job. I'll park here at the top of the Glenative Road, and Greg opens the door and gets out.
I nip round to the boot, get a memory card, go to take it round to the passenger door, as I'm just met by a cloud, like a thick cloud of midges. And I was like, wow!
I just hear
chucked the memory card in, and then I went round to close the boot, and then I was running, panicking, as these midges were just flooding into the car.
I have never seen so many midges
Oh my God.
for a long, long time.
Like, I just sat down in the car, looked to myself and went, oh my God.
Everywhere.
Then we opened the windows to blow the air out.
Yeah, at one point you said, oh my God, the midges are in me.
They were under my clothes, like on my torso.
It was honestly, it was absolutely hilarious.
So literally the rest of the drive home, important footage going,
terrible.
itching. I still feel itchy now.
I feel
about
itchy
it.
now. I know. It really was. Midges are a terrible experience. Like one or two, fine. Like in the woods, like we were getting eaten, and there was a lot of them. But holy shit,
you just mind over matter when you're filming.
Yeah.
But when you're sitting in the car and can't go anywhere, struggles.
Honestly, next level.
But yeah, that's August.
Hell yeah! Wow. Well, that was August work. But let me tell you something. I found a new passion. So, has my little recorder tip video come out yet?
No.
Okay, well, in my little recorder tip video that will eventually be coming out, it's a few minutes long. I just decided to do it in my house. You'll see I'm in my home studio, which I've kind of done up. I think last week I spoke about my other passion, which was to find bits of wood, stick them together, sand them down, and polish them up. Lovely. I'd made my desk, and I was thinking my walls are really bare, so let's fill them with art. Art's really expensive. So in my adventure to find things I could put on the wall, I came across 2 old vinyls that I owned.
Right.
So I put them up on the wall. I put shelves up. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna buy a few vinyls that look nice. I'm gonna put them on the wall. I haven't done that yet, but I still had those 2 vinyls. And then I thought, you know what? I would love to be able to listen to these. And in my head, I'm thinking, right, £100. I could pull £100 out of somewhere. I'll go and find a vinyl player. Holy shit!
Good luck with that.
This took me into a tunnel of YouTube videos and diving into cultures that I had never really ventured into. Dipping my toe into turntables and audio equipment, which I haven't done in a long time since we were in university.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, lit a passion for vinyls that I never knew I had. So yeah, I bought myself an Audio-Technica LP 120 Bluetooth deck, a turntable, and powered speakers as the easiest setup I could come up with, which was probably about £600, which
that escalated quick.
That escalated quick. When you originally think back to the reason I actually put vinyls on the wall was to avoid paying the price for art.
Whoops!
I am now in a downward spiral into buying vinyls, which was actually nice. So I'll pimp the band who reside in this office. They work here. Tom, JD Armstrong, and Gunze both work here, and this is their band, Bleed From Within, and this vinyl have been sitting on Tom's desk for months. And I came in, they were never an interest to me before, and now I've come in and I've
doubled your vinyl collection.
I've doubled my collection, and I'm very excited to actually listen to this style of music on my
This one's a nice orange vinyl as well.
This vinyl is absolutely glorious. The thing is, I mean, I'm now very precious about vinyl. I understand how delicate these things are. And so I have bought oh my God.
Polythene, I guess?
Polythene. Is it polythene? Polythene inserts for your vinyls, because sometimes they come in paper inserts. And now this has become the vinyl channel. I'm sorry. This is how deep I've gone. I've bought little inserts to replace the paper sheets that you get, because the paper scratches your vinyls and leaves dust and all that kind of stuff. So every vinyl now has a replaced sleeve and an external sleeve as well, so that I can look after the actual art that is these beautiful things. I mean, this is absolutely stunning. So the craftsmanship on vinyls alone is just wonderful.
Yeah.
And now I get to listen to these things. And how often do you sit down and listen to music now? I hardly ever do it.
More of a process when you put on a vinyl and sit down.
Yeah, it's almost like a kind of a religious ceremony that you have to.
You're taking it too far now.
No. See, there's like a weird ceremony that you kind of go through. You get the vinyls out, you put them on your turntable. You've got your anti-static brush. You set the turntable.
You're gonna have to do a sexy B-roll footage of you putting a vinyl on.
I'm clearly gonna have to do that. And then, it's a manual turntable, so you lift up the needle, which you have spent a long time balancing, by the way. That's a fucking art form in itself. You place it very gently down, and music appears from this physical thing that you've put down. And then, I don't know, there's something very strange and not of this time with vinyls, and I love that. Anyway, I'm sorry, this is not the vinyl channel, but if you've got an interest in vinyls, get in contact with me, because I could chat about this all day.
Looking ahead to October, September. September's next month.
September.
Jeez, I've lost track of months.
Yes.
I believe we've only got, because we've included the start of October in this one, we've got one more wedding shoot this month. So it'll be a edit heavy month, I guess.
It will be.
But
what are you going to do, Greg?
Well, I'm shooting the wedding.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so Greg's up in the sky.
So yeah, we'll look forward to...
You're shooting the one wedding?
Just one, yeah.
And then Mull's going to be the next month as well, right? That's at the end of the month.
It's the following month.
Is it? So we've only got one alone in this...
One more this month, and then we've got like the rest of the month to edit and catch up.
Oh.
I say catch up. Wow. We filmed and edited the two that we talked about at the start of this episode last month, and they've been delivered this month, so we're keeping quite well in the backlog.
Yeah.
It's building up quick because this was a busy month, but so far doing quite well.
Yes, indeed.
Doesn't feel like it, but when you look at the dates, we are.
Yeah. I'm just trying to live a normal life at the same time as edit and do the work, because I've been doing a lot of things. I'm playing Starfield.
I don't know what that is.
Starfield? You don't?
Oh, this episode went on too long.
That's it. Sounds
visual
talking too much.
Visual listeners will see that the
visual listeners
screen just went off.
Yes, indeed. I've been playing a lot of Starfield on the Xbox, and I'm absolutely loving the game. It's not, well, it'll be out when this episode comes out, but I got the early release date. I'm a big Bethesda gamer, and I'm absolutely falling in love with this game. It's one of these games that very hard to get into, and it kind of just leaves you with so many questions of like, what do I do? Like, what do I do? It just leaves you to kind of figure that out. And you find ships through space and all sorts of craziness. But obviously, I'm a very slow player because I have kids and family and work and too many things, Greg. Too many things. And
but if you've got any questions about Starfield or advice about vinyl, let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, give me all your advice.
However, in the meantime,
enjoy your life!
What?
Holy shit, 46 minutes! God damn! Oh, well, nice.
Enjoy.
Enjoy.